I'll start recording.
Because we are kind of heading to the festival, which is kind of the point of no return from everything we wish to do and kind of set up. We asked Arky for help, but they said that something was blocking their ability. They're kind of stuck, so they weren't much help. That might have been before we went to the Marble Fountain. The cave group were busy shifting blockages with Nagi doing kind of stone shape or shape stone or whatever it is.
Mold earth.
Mold earth, thank you. Brain.
I do not have stone shape yet, if only.
Oh,
Brain.
Yet.
Words are just...
You're okay.
You're alright.
You good.
The Marble Fountain was busy, so Ix made the apparently really bad decision to stay outside while everybody went in.
It wouldn't have
It was
mattered.
both a really good and really bad decision.
Yeah, I figured as much. Ix ordered breakfast and sat down to wait while everybody else went inside to chat, and then some asshole came up and promptly pulled the whole, nice to see you, Naomi, I'm a friend of a friend, at which point Ix was just like, oh, well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions. Ix actually decided not to bolt, which is what I was rolling for, because if they had failed that wisdom save by, I mean, they rolled an 18, if it had been anything less than a 10, Ix would have bolted. Julius dropped his disguise while talking to Siguru, who then introduced himself as part of the Marble Hand. And the general consensus then was that the Marble Hand would provide what help they could, but they were kind of limited in what they could do. But they were generally in favor of us carrying out the kidnapping plan. E, F, G, whatever letter that actually was.
We don't keep track
because
anymore.
because the Marble Hand are organised, but they're not as organised and as kind of pervasive as groups like the Devils. So while they were in favour, go for it.
Also, the main reason they were in favor is shit has already gone so off the rails that this can't hurt.
Might, but it can't be too much worse than all the other shit that's going off.
Yeah.
We'll see about that.
Where there's a D&D party to fuck things up.
Exactly.
Then somebody called Hidemi appeared. I can't remember who they are or what they did, but I have the phrase "they're adorable" written next to their name and it's underlined, so they are adorable.
Hidemi Amori is one of Julius's ex-lovers. Kind of
Question
sugar
mark.
situation.
So Julius's ex. That is
They're-
Julius is
they're
a sugar... Wait, Julius is a sugar daddy?
Their friends
bit.
No,
smiles.
he was a sugar
Yeah.
daddy.
Their friends smiles.
We were then pointed
Julius
to
had-
the. Sorry, go on.
Julie had visited Hidemi previously to try to get some information.
That was it.
Yeah,
pink
and
tea.
paid for 3 hours of his time and just left
He
it for
was
5 minutes.
15 minutes.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah. Julius doesn't give a shit about his reputation. He doesn't care.
People in the Alabaster Cheetah made fucking fun of you for that.
Oh, I'm sure. Julius is just like, all right, you might as well. It's fine.
Did everyone when he left, did everyone think he was just like the fastest person ever? Like,
I'm sure he'd be fucking laid into that, like, ah, yeah, for sure. Anyways, sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm making notes. The Marble Hand were, Suguru said that the Marble Hand were doing a favour to someone called Agathon, which was implied to be Julius's dad, whether or not that is actually accurate or not. We were also pointed towards a ship called the Opal, which might possibly be a way out of the city once we've done the kidnap.
Suguro was
Ex-headed-
very much like, you probably shouldn't leave with the kid. That's going to cause problems with the parents.
If you need to get out of town, and you probably should get out of town once you've carried out a kidnapping plot, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
Nin pulled a prank on Julius by sneaking up and get slapped. I wrote that one down. Ix had a minor panic, and then everyone headed to back up the cave digging crew. At which point, I think my internet crapped out, and I was like, no, Ix would not go down there and risk this if they've got a vial of blood to track at them. So
well,
Ix
I'll
head back
pick
to
it
Julius'
up from
way.
there.
Yes.
So what happened is, after that, we headed down, and Nagi was up front. However, I did not think to look for traps, and we triggered a glyph of warding.
Yeah.
And we all took a shit ton of damage, if I recall.
Yeah, well, the
did.
three of the people at the front took damage, and I think Snowball pooped.
Snowball did not poop. Snowball was there.
Oh, thank goodness.
I think everybody
so
took damage. Pretty sure.
No,
not everyone.
Julius did though.
Julius
Since he was in the middle.
I think it was Irene, Nagi, and Julius who took damage.
Nin took damage as well.
Yeah.
It's a 20-foot range.
Yeah, and then
it's a 20-foot range.
Literally just after we took the damage and the smoke was settling, we saw the form of Naoki appear to us and he said, why didn't you guys wait like 3 more minutes? I could have come and disabled it, and that's where we stopped.
The thing you missed is the reason Ix was approached by Korobe Soshu, which is the name that you got from Suguro, was that he and the devils want Ixalia to kill Julius.
Yes. How could I forget that? Yes, so which Ix has told Julius to.
Yeah. And he just found it amusing, like, are you gonna kill me? Ix is like, no.
Ix's response pretty much was, well, I might have considered it, but now somebody's told me to do it, so because they've told me to do it, I'm not gonna do it.
He's like, alright.
So, Ixalia, you are heading up the stairs out of the tunnel to head back to Julius's place. You have just hit the top of the landing when behind you hear the sound of an explosion.
No, Ix is keeping going. This is their problem right now.
Oh my god.
So you head off.
Yeah, because Ix is fully of the mind of, if they have vials of their blood to track them, then not being where they're doing the really truly shifty shit is probably a safer plan than anything else.
Well, my food is here. I'll be right back.
Okay. I love this. Hit top of the stairs.
Boom.
Pauses for a moment. Shrugs.
Keeps walking.
Pauses for a moment. I cannot deal with this right now. Keeps walking.
Ix is having a bad day. A really bad day.
You make it back to Julius's place unaccosted.
Okay. Not overly surprising, which is more concerning than anything, but okay.
I mean, you can roll a perception check if you want to, like, see if anybody is, like, keeping an eye on you.
I would love to, please. I figure Ix is going to be more than a little paranoid at the moment. It is a 22.
You don't seem to notice anybody watching you. It seems that you have been mostly left alone, at least for the moment. And the house itself is on watch. You kind of know the way the devils operate. And if they do not currently have somebody watching after, like, previously have been watching, they're relatively calm. What that something is, but something they are confident in feeling able to surveil 24/7.
I make, I don't know, some sort of history check to see if Ix would be able to remember. I'm kind of thinking. Misby, baby.
Misby.
I'm kind of thinking how much they might remember of Ix. Ix might think they know about their skill set. What they might be kind of, right, okay, this is what they would do, this is what they think I'm going to do.
Make a history check.
Sarah, your son is so chubby.
He's a fat boy, but I love him.
He's so chunky and I love him.
A big lad.
You're still panicking a bit, and like
Oh.
you're starting to kind of like worst case scenario. Maybe after you calm yourself down a little bit, you can like try to think through logically what's going on. But you know that if they're not watching, they're confident in something. And you're starting to think what they're confident in is you coming through to the deal.
Yay! Okay, that's what I was worried about. Thank you. It's the most thematically appropriate -1, natural 1 ever.
Rest of you all. The smoke has cleared and settled, and now he is standing in front of you. And he is sort of, he has relaxed his posture. He does not look like he's about to attack you. In fact, he just seems a little like, of course, this is the timing.
Yeah.
Well, how would we have known? Pray tell.
Nagi's like, I should have been keeping an eye out.
We didn't think you'd hit the tunnels up immediately, but okay.
I've actually been here for like a few hours.
Nice.
Hello. That is on me. I wasn't clear about the fact that we were heading here right after the conversation.
Right. Okay. And he kind of looks. He kind of is like his head kind of tilts a little bit. He's like, right, change of plans.
So you're gonna just help us?
At least you're not going to attack us, right?
Yes and no, in that order.
Oh, good.
Can Julius make an insight check on that?
Sure.
He's just a bastard, so.
Aster's also a bit like, okay, I appreciate the lock, but...
Oh god, 2 natural ones today!
Oh no.
Holy god, okay, this is going great.
Aster, you're still kind of, your head's still ringing a little bit from the explosion, that you're not, like, fully paying attention.
Yeah.
There's some, like, the reverberation, even if, like, did you get hit directly?
No.
Yeah, even though you didn't get hit directly, the sound and the pressure of it has hit you in your chest, and you're starting to, like, the normal aches you get in your muscles in that region are kind of peaking a little.
Wait, are Nagi's ears ringing right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so she's probably talking a little louder than she should be.
Oh
So she's like, "Poggers!" really loudly.
Oh my god, I love her.
Julius, so this fella, first off, he's a cat. You're not exactly used to cats, or tabaxi. And he very much seems relaxed. He very much seems like if he is going to attack you, he's not about to do it like in this second. Like he's not stanced. He's not
Stanced.
He's not like moving towards a weapon. It doesn't look like he's like moving to cast a spell.
He doesn't have big old pupils.
No.
Okay.
He's the vibe you're getting is that at least this man is not at the moment a threat.
Okay.
You cannot get anything but his honesty.
That's fine. More than enough for a 10.
So if we take them out of here, are you going to be coming with them / us, or she's saying this all very loudly? I just don't want to shout.
He kind of is like down a little bit with the volume.
My ears are ringing.
Right. Sorry. He kind of, well, come on. And he kind of turns around and starts to walk down the tunnel, motioning for the rest of you all to follow.
Nagi will follow it, and she's like walking. She's like banging, like tilting head to the side, banging her ears, trying to get like kind of the way people do to get water out of their ears, but there's no water, just buzzing or ringing.
It is starting to fade a little bit.
Okay.
It's not going to be permanent hearing loss. You're fine. He goes, well, I mean, my plan that I've constructed in the last hour since I've known this is happening. No, I'm not coming with you.
Won't they have questions about, where's Ophaniel? You're supposed to be guarding Ophaniel.
Well, I was going to try to time this with you so that I was getting dinner or something and you got in, got out, but now that you've set off the cliff and it's going to be a whole thing and I don't have plausible deniability, if they put me under dumb truth, you're going to have to beat the shit out of me.
Nagi looks at her fist and it's like, are you sure?
Not right now.
Yeah, obviously not right now, like when we get there, but like, you seem kind of nice, and it would suck to, have to just knock the daylights out of ya.
I mean, it's that or I'd come with you and we lose our closest connection to Dickwad McBuckface.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, it's.
I
In
guess.
Can
this
you at
case,
least tell Ophaniel we don't want to beat you up?
You're going to take Ophaniel out first, and then some of you are going to beat the shit out of me.
Fair. I can understand that. Right.
Or at least you're going to beat the shit out. No, that's not going to work. You're going to beat the shit out of me in a tunnel after I talk to them, and then you're going to. We'll figure it out.
We can figure out the specifics of the timing.
You know. Well.
Sorry we've made
Nice
this
to meet you
complicated
all.
for you.
It's all complicated. It's been complicated for 17 years.
Probably longer. She
My
says
mom says
that.
about me.
Oh my god.
Oh, Nimmer,
He,
you're
he, he knows
wonderful.
to nod with Min, and then he like looks over his shoulder at you. Min,
Julius is just gonna reach out,
Sure.
ruffle your hair a little bit.
he just kind of looks at you and he's like, sure.
Right. So, important question.
Mhm.
Are they in the condition for a decently long walk under disguise?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're obviously like you or me, or and then he looks at you again. He's like, I'm not gonna question it.
Ashley just gives a very bland little smile, and
He is like walking backwards now on his feet, and you can tell this man is pretty graceful.
yeah.
The other thing you start to notice as you walk with him, he's wearing a cloak over his shoulders. That's kind of like pin here and go back there. And as he kind of walks, it sort of shifts and moves around him. In a way that you kind like. It might that's kind of a little bit visually disrupting.
Oh,
Hmm.
Like,
yeah, I
say,
know
a
what that
cloak of
is.
displacement, perhaps?
Yeah.
Perhaps.
It's
The spell work. Was that yours or was that Fuckface's?
That's mine.
Fair enough.
But like I was saying, Ophaniel isn't in my kind of shape or an adventuring kind of shape, but they are physically fine.
So they're healthy?
They're healthy.
also out of character. I already mentioned the bracelets that they were wearing, right?
Yes.
So you know the cat.
He looks down at where Snowball's trotting at Irene's feet. I was wondering.
Yeah. So last time we saw that they were wearing bracelets. Are those do those keep them bound there, or are they like fucked up bracelets or something?
It'll be easier to show you.
Okay.
Okay.
Some magic. I'm not the most learned man in arcane knowledge. It's easier to show you.
Also, as they're walking, Nagi is like punching the air, and then as she punches the air, the dirt around her changes to different colors.
Mhm. As you all starts to walk, particularly you, Alex, you notice that his gaze keeps drifting over to Julius.
Cool. Don't like that.
Um,
Can I insight that?
you can insight.
All right, let's see if. Oh, yay! Roll 20's cooperating today. Okay.
Yay!
Um,
Rights for now.
sometimes it opens our character sheet in a new tab entirely, and then it won't roll anything. But it didn't do that today, so it's fine. Oh, I don't. That should not be an advantage. I apologize.
So we
So.
have another natural one.
No! Today is cursed. Now watch Julius have the good rolls today.
Those days.
Would I notice that with my passive?
Yeah, Aster and Nagi, your perceptions are also higher.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I need to refresh my page because my character sheet's not opening.
Alex, you're just getting that he's like looking over at Julius more often than not.
Yeah, that's weird. Okay. That's boring.
No.
Maybe he thinks Julius is hot. I don't know.
No, I know it's the dice. I'm not actually mad. I'm just like, well,
Asta is gonna run a mass healing word just because
Ooh.
almost everyone did get popped.
Yeah,
So
Julius is
it's
sitting
not
at
much
9 hit
healing,
points
but-
right now.
Oof.
Oh,
He's kind of hurt.
So mass
The
healing word.
Sorry, go ahead.
4 HP.
Great. I mean, it's 4 more than I had.
Thank you.
There we go. My sheet's open now.
Wow, he's got a whole 13. Good job, Julius.
Hey, that's above
It's
Above
it's
10.
not very good, but it's 24.
Okay,
Very
babe.
good.
Alright.
That's a 4 on the dice.
Yeah. Nagi, you track this eye movement where like he's engaging with people who as you are talking to him, but in the moments between, his gaze keeps flickering over, and there is something in his expression.
Recognition.
Not recognition, almost like he is like he's clearly been told which of you is Casey.
Okay.
And he keeps looking over, kind of in like just like he can't stop looking at Julius.
Yeah. Nagi's not going to mention anything because, yeah, she knows that. Nagi will remember this.
Yeah, see, like there is just something like he. Yeah, that's about as good as I can give you, without like giving you his like actual like thoughts, which you
Yeah,
get
without
from an insight.
Yeah, I cast Detect Thoughts.
I insight so well I hear thoughts.
It's like
Deuces.
there is going to be one little issue.
Just
Yeah.
one.
I'm not the only security.
Of course.
Oh. Do we have to fight them all then, or?
Not them. I'm the only person security.
Magical
but
security.
magical security
As
is
in creatures or as in magical items?
Or more explosions?
Well, I've never actually seen it go off. And it's butt faces thing.
Of course it is.
He says
I've got-
that if Ophaniel is the things, and he kind of motions to the wrist, like if those are removed or damaged without the proper. Walsh has like a key. The very large statue in the room will come to life and try to kill everyone.
What if we break the statue beforehand, like push it on the ground and hope it crumbles?
You can try.
Out of character, what was the statue made of again? Because Snowball would have seen it, right?
He didn't say.
Oh, okay. No, if Snowball would have seen it, right? Or
Snowball would have seen it, but
oh, okay.
Snowball cannot speak common.
That's fair.
Yeah, and that also possibly was included in the redacted information for Snowball's dignity.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, that's right. I forgot about that.
I might be able to do something about the trigger, but I'm not entirely sure.
Also, will this thing ceaselessly hunt? Or...
I don't know. Walsh has never been super clear. It was also kind of a threat for me. The only thing it won't kill in the room is death, which, you know.
Well, they won't be put in danger at all.
But you basically got told either stop the intruders or
die, yeah.
lovely.
It's a great job. There's a lot of benefits, including housing, healthcare, and the constant threat of death.
Also, you have such a great boss.
Yeah.
Very understanding about mistakes, I see.
Well, I mean, some, yeah. Losing his kid.
Yeah, we get it.
Hence why you're gonna have to beat the shit out of me.
Yep. And then possibly the giant stone thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well...
And are you gonna let us beat the shit out of you? Or, like, are you gonna fight back?
Like, he's gonna have to fight back to some degree. Because under Zone of Truth, they can ask specifics. He'll have to fight back to some degree.
But what if we hit you hard enough that you don't have to?
Yeah, like Parker, out of character, is it
very impressed with you. You are a very good man.
Parker, out of character, is it possible in D&D? Because I know technically there's hit points. Technically there's all kinds of weird mechanics, but in real life you could hit someone on the back of the skull and knock them out. Like, is that possible in D&D? Would not be able to that?
A commoner, yes. Naoki has levels.
Yeah.
So we hit him really hard on the back of the head.
You break his neck gently!
No killing.
I mean,
We're not
that'll
doing
do it, I
murder.
guess.
There is a discrete difference between a leveled and a non-leveled character in Enjira.
Yeah, that's fair.
Someone without levels, so your average motherfucker on the street, yeah, you can just go, and you'll probably knock him out fine. As long as you have good aim and you're hitting them with enough bullets.
And I can't do the Vulcan death grip, right?
No. Someone with levels is much different.
Yeah, okay.
Julius wants...
Level, you'd have to get very lucky.
Julius is gonna ask, so those cuffs you said if they were removed, if they're taken... If Ophaniel is to leave the room, would it also trigger it?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I was gonna say if we could get them out of the room and then remove them.
There might be like around the wrists and then connected to a certain. Which I know. I know.
Julius is silently steaming. just
Mr.
gritting his teeth a bit.
Whatever your name is.
Naoki.
Can I ask you something? Does Ophaniel like Walsh? Like, do they get along? Will he be upset that we're, acting against him?
is a very complicated question.
Can you simplify it? I'm not really good with complicated questions.
He looks like he's trying to think of the best way to put this. You and I would probably call it a pretty bad relationship. It
But
is the only thing Ophaniel has ever.
yeah,
Oh.
and like even if Walsh is horrible, that's still their father, and to some degree, there's still that bond there, especially if one of the only bonds they've ever known.
Naoki nods. Ophaniel and I are close. Been a kid for a very long time. I don't know how this is going to go. You have been walking down the tunnel this whole time.
Yeah, and it took Snowball a few hours to get down the tunnel, right?
Yeah, it took Snowball a while. Snowball was also moving a lot slower due to stealth, but like
It still
gonna
takes a
take-
little bit.
it's gonna take you a bit to get there.
Yeah.
Trying to think. Well, we should start preparing at the very least what we can think of for getting Nathaniel out of this. I don't
Is there anything
necessarily
else
have any
we
dispel
should-
magic.
Is there anything else we should know about them, just to get them on our side?
They're a good kid. They are. And none of you even really need a high insight to see that, like, this guy is talking from, like, a place of extreme care.
Yeah.
They're a good kid. They not gotten the chance to be a kid. I suspect that however we get them out of here, they're going to be very scared.
Well, it is a scary place. Especially for somebody who wasn't exposed to it, didn't have their entire life to be.
We can do our best to mitigate that. It would be easier if you could come with, but I understand why you can't.
At the very least, one thing we could use as a talking point is the fact that we can communicate between people. If Othaniel needs anything, can hear word from you. Or, at the very least, secondhand.
He nods, and the other thing is, Ophaniel has been under a lot of pressure since they have lived under very high expectations.
Yeah.
That's no pressure to be under for a kid.
They believe that in about a month's time, they're going to be set up to street. And it has been they're a good kid. They tried so hard. Just be a little patient with them, would you?
Look, I've got all the time in the world.
Well, we don't, but...
I can think we do. Helps me sleep at night. Never.
I will say that the more well-traveled of you particularly on this continent. So Alex and Aster and Cream, although Julius to some extent. Naoki has a bit of an accent. If you want to try to figure out where from, we'll take a history check.
Okay.
But I can tell you that he does not sound native to.
Well.
History. There's
Alex,
the
you've been around for so long and heard so many goddamn voices that, like.
Who gives a fuck, right?
Who gives a fuck?
Who the fuck knows at this point? Ayo. History.
Julius, you pick up the accent. He's not native to Horitari. He might be native to Chalas, but if he is distinctly from the western border with Paladin. His accent kind of has some of the notes of that region.
Fair enough.
I'm not giving him an accent because I can't do the accent and I don't want to, like, because I know what the Pelundian accent is. But, like, I'm not doing it right now.
No, that's fair.
Um,
you can tell us off screen. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and the way he carries himself, he very much carries himself as, like, someone who is very confident in their own abilities. He is very much, like, moving with a grace and a dexterity and with, like a chest puffed out. He has this sort of charisma that kind of just, like, puts him sort of in this place where he is not exactly captivating, but
Exudes confidence.
He exudes confidence. He speaks like he has an authority. He knows, like, he is very self-assured.
Noki's got experience.
He does look around at some of the more injured of you, and he's gonna hand out a cure wounds to each of the 4 people who were caught in the explosion.
Hey!
Nice of him.
Thanks, buddy.
So 1 for Julius.
Ow.
That was a 9.
That's good. Thank you.
1 for Irene. Which is going to be less. It's going to be another 7. 1 for Nin. That's 8 to you. And 1 for will be near full. That will be another 11. He kind of does this one by one, and as he comes up to you, Julius, he puts his hand on your shoulder, and you feel the cure wounds take, and he's just kind of looking at you. And he kind of, like, has his hand on your shoulder, and he looks at you, and he kind of looks you up and down.
You
kind of look like an asshole.
Yeah, it's the way you grow up, man.
Yeah, no, I get that. Do you own a shirt?
Why would I wear one right now?
To be fair, you are underground, it's kind of cold. He just is like, fair enough. I guess.
I stick to my... Oh, I was gonna say stick to my guns, but those don't exist here.
Or do they?
Boom, boom! I stick to my missiles.
Stick to my crossbows.
My bolts. Yep. God.
He just is like, oh, I got a fucking shirt.
Look, I'm too old for your heckling. Get out of here. Go heal someone else.
This man is very clearly older than you.
Well, no, Julius just said I'm too
Yeah.
old for your heckling.
Yeah, but like, he's just kind of like,
This fucking kid.
fucking kid.
Yeah.
Are you telling me this is the kid?
This one's your son? No. God.
Oh.
And that's totally known him. I've seen him wear a shirt once, and that was to a party that ended very badly.
See, every time I wear a shirt, it ends worse than it does. So. Things go horribly wrong. Trust me.
Like, there's an expression where he's kind of like, whatever you fucking say, dude.
And Julius's face for a moment just kind of like, just a fraction bit serious, and he just says, "It doesn't feel well in the scar. I don't like to." Anyways.
He kind of looks at you, and his eyes settle over the scar for a second, and there is just a flicker of something of an expression. And he's like, you know what? That's fair. Yes. It's okay.
It's fine. Everybody has their dance with death a few times.
Nagi raises her hand. Yeah, I've died already.
There was this moment he was going to he flinched a little bit, and then Nagi speaks, and his head snaps over, and he's like, right.
He's having regrets that we're the ones who are.
Yeah, Suguro was like, I've spoken to Kay and this other and his friend. They're very professional. They're very, and then.
They're very professional. Okay.
Then there's this weird ass fish teenager.
This is Kay hangs around with children.
God.
God. These are the people you picked up? Yeah. Who else?
He will keep up conversation with you all until you hit the base of the stairs. So if there's anything else you want to ask him, now's probably the time.
God.
I think Asta will kind of. Have you been looking after Ophaniel since they were
They were
born?
a couple months old.
Shit.
So why you then?
Well, Walsh and put up a couple of candidates for the position when it opened up. I was the one picked. Been here since.
Excuse me.
And
Isn't
just
the
struggle
marble
up.
isn't the marble hand like an acting guild?
Yeah, mostly. Bards, any type of bard, not just actors. They're a bunch of, and then he kind of glanced, like his eyes flick over to Julius for just a second, and he goes, shitheads. We mostly just kind of, like, when you're on the road alone, you can be a little rough sometimes. It's a sort of like, well, if I'm staying here and I got a room, and you need one, you can crash. Next time I need some food and you got some, you share. It's a connection, a way to make sure you keep living.
You made yourselves in a community.
Sometimes, if shit goes real fucked, or if particularly one of ours gets a little too trampled on, We might not be able to do big revolution change. Half these fuckheads are drunk half the time. But we can be a little annoying, at least.
And you can look out for each other.
Not.
I mean, the best way for change is to pester and don't relent, so...
Miss
I heard-
Satoshi,
Sorry, go ahead.
Miss Satoshi was close to Agathon. So,
Nagi. Nagi just pops up and says, I heard the best way to change is with a guillotine. Chop chop.
Yes.
mean,
Yes.
Chile
Nagi,
is
yes.
like, crosses his arms and he's like, eat the rich.
I mean, yeah, eat the rich, but like, a guillotine is expensive, and I
Is
wouldn't
it?
trust. I wouldn't
Materials.
trust most of these people with building something.
All you really need is a big sword and some like rope
All
and
you
gravity.
All you need is magic.
You can hold somebody down. It's fine.
Oh my god.
The point
We're very good at what we do.
he seems to be getting at is that a lot of it is looking out for each other and somewhat folding in people who, those of them who need it.
Yeah, no, I get that. That was plainly obviously said.
He nods and is like, "This is probably the most organized bullshit Zero's had to deal with in probably the entirety of that bastard's life."
Good to know he's been living comfortably. At least in that regard.
He has his fucking teeth shot.
I wish it were that easy.
Sometimes after he swears, he like looks at you and like Aster and Nagi and Nin, who are all like children or like just barely adults, and he keeps like, "Should I not? They're kind of old."
Asta kind of sees that, and I guarantee that I at least have heard worse.
It's fine. You can say whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, and I grew up with adventurers. I've heard and seen worse.
Okay.
Don't worry, it's not a big deal. They might be young, but they've seen enough of the world.
Right.
He does like a slight glance at the rest of you guys as he says that.
Ninja smiles.
Nagi doesn't see it because she's up front.
Yeah, it's not making him feel better. He's just wondering who traumatized a bunch of children.
Yeah! He's like, what the fuck? I'm letting Ophaniel go with this group of people?
Nin would be insulted that it's implied that she was traumatized. She's fine.
Sure.
Nagi wasn't traumatized until she joined you guys.
Anyway.
Yeah, I don't think Asta has anything else for Naki. Can't speak to anyone else. Actually, Asta does have one other question. And that is, if I summon a light for the benefit of our friends who can't see very well in the dark, is that going to freak a fan?
Everyone has dark vision now.
He just kind of go for it. The chamber's pretty well lit. They're used to magic lights.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
What's Ophaniel's favorite food?
I like strawberries a lot.
Parker, have a question. How dark is the area that we've been walking?
Pretty dark. It's an underground tunnel with no lights.
Yeah, okay.
Roll me a wisdom save.
Yeah.
he just like he says strawberries. Actually,
Oh, hog. That's my favorite fruit too.
Oh, Julia.
yeah, Julius, you're not doing too good. You're like holding on. The fact that there are voices and they are talking and you can kind of see some things is like keeping you from having a full blown panic attack. But like, you don't like it in here.
For a second, I wondered why he had to roll that. Then I remembered. Oh, right, the pit.
Yeah, he was in there
Oh,
for a couple of years in solid darkness. Mans
This
wasn't
is
in a confined
as-
space underground.
ask him to just reach over and, hey, Jules, can you give me a hand?
I think it takes him a moment to register that you're talking to him. Like, you reach out for him, and he, like, jumps a little bit.
Easy. Just me.
God, you fucking sneaky. Yeah.
While I clank and clatter.
Yeah.
And Asta's gonna back light onto your bracelet.
Thanks, kid.
So what's up with Walsh and keeping kids underground?
He's a
Gonna
rat
make
fucking
joke that I'm
bastard.
not gonna say in some 15-year-old.
He's a rat fucking bastard?
Yeah, it's. To be fair, I don't think he directly ordered Hay to be underground. That wasn't like a instruction. It just happened. I think he took inspiration.
that's fucked up.
Julius
And-
is just
Yeah.
he's listening, but he is still staring at the bracelet and the light of it. Kind of fidgeting within his fingers.
The caverns within the tunnel was already here. It was a emergency bunker escape route during the Civil War.
Makes sense. And what, you guys dropped out the... you got told to drop the exit so that
He nods.
the way on was through the temple?
He nods. Worst comes to worst.
Does Ophaniel spend like all their time down here?
He has spent some time in the upper part of the temples. They have spent some time there.
But they don't get to go outside and, you
No.
know.
Walsh is paranoid about his control of this place.
Like,
He knows
never?
that
Never?
I mean, they've been outside. They don't get to go outside.
Are you sure we can't just kill this guy?
That's what I'm planning to do.
The one make that decision. Walsh is paranoid about his control over this place. He knows that if it were up to literally anybody else here, he would be out on his ass in a second. He keeps control of the kid, he keeps control of the place.
And that's part of why we're moving the kid. That's part of why we're moving Ophaniel out of, or at least trying to.
We didn't try earlier. And he points at Julius.
He didn't what earlier?
They didn't try earlier, and because of and then points at Julius.
I'm still
Those with him
wondering. So what did he tell you about where I was? Did he?
Oh, he didn't tell me shit.
Okay, I'm
What did he
curious.
say? You know what?
Then who told you? Because I saw the way you looked at him.
Seguro.
Hmm.
Well, never mind. Never mind. I don't care.
He kind of gives you a look like, now what?
I was just gonna say I'm glad I look like an old friend.
Yeah, you do. he looked like an asshole too.
I'm glad it runs in the family. Woo!
He kind of just grins at you for a second. Like his like cat lips, like the cat smile.
Julius will show a little bit of Fang too, just a little like. The bracelet thing has calmed him down a little bit. He feels a little less. Yeah.
If you see it dimming, let me know and I'll refresh it, okay?
Alright.
I've got enough money for that.
Aye, Chief. He's just twirling it around his fingers.
And you all hit the bottom of the stairs.
Yep.
And he's like, alright, come on. Gonna be up a couple flights.
Oh no, I suddenly don't feel well. No, I can't. I'm fucking kidding, let's go.
He gives you a look like, yeah, okay, you're Agathon's kid.
At least he comes by something, honestly.
Yeah.
Never known the man a day in my life, but at least I have some of it down.
He starts to kind of bound up the stairs 2 at a time. And you all hit the top. It's a climb. It is a climb. Irene is definitely just like, eh.
Somebody should carry her.
Yeah.
Asta will happily scoop Irene and
Those of you with a lower constitution score, by the time you hit the top, you're like,
What is Julius's con? Yeah, his con is only 12. It's not the best.
Nagi's feeling.
No, what were you gonna say, Nagi?
Oh, so Nagi's feeling fine. She says 16 con.
Yeah, Julius, you're just like, okay. Why is it this high?
My
Why
legs
is
are
it this deep?
they're fucking on fire. What the
And
hell?
then we have to go up a few flights of stairs.
Yeah, honestly, down is probably fine.
Yeah, down is fine.
The up is gonna suck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As you head up into so the tunnels here are actually lower than the cavern. So you have to go up into the cavern. So this flight of stairs is actually up. So you hit the top landing, and as you kind of catch your breath, Naoki's like, okay, I'm gonna go introduce them to the idea that a bunch of strangers are about to walk into their room. I'll come get you.
okay. Do
Nagi
you
gives
want to take?
thumbs up. Sorry, go ahead.
Do you want to take Snowball with you to sort of sweeten them on the idea?
He looks down at this cat, and there's a moment where there's this like, oh, cat. Reed's permission, he does scoop up the cat, and like in his arms.
How did Snowball react to being scooped by a stranger?
Snowball.
He's just like,
Snowball, my beloved.
A terrible
What the fuck is
creature
this?
is what it is.
Irene's like, no, she is a lovely baby. She's
I
fine."
love Snowball's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
He's such a good cat.
She's not actually a cat.
Don't be
Irene's
mean.
like, no, she is a cat. Don't worry, she'll be nice.
She just
Be
looks
nice,
like a cat.
Snowball. And Snowball's like, and Irene's like, good girl.
Oh.
Oh, did you do a face? Because I was looking at Roll20.
It was just like, ah.
Oh, okay.
He walks slightly down the hall, and you see him part what looks like a long red curtain. Sort of pokes his head in, and you hear him as he sort of starts to walk away, just his voice fading, just like, "Hey, Ophaniel, yeah, hi," and you can hear him, and a different voice, a much lighter toned voice. You can't really hear what they're saying back to each other, but you can hear them.
Yeah.
Julius is gonna be standing there, kind of like wiping dirt off of his coat and like making himself feel and look presentable. raking fingers through his hair a little bit, maybe wiping some blood off his face.
If Nagi sees you trying to get your dirt off your coat, she'll just earthbend it off of you. Just punch and punches the air, then it's gone.
It's just dust that flies off.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And a couple of minutes later, Naoki kind of pulls the curtain back and is like, "Hey, I don't have any advice for you," and steps back.
Okay, since Nagi's in front, she'll step in first.
Nagi, and then the rest of you one by one as you step into this room.
Just will
It
hang back
is-
just a little bit.
It is a fairly large open space that has been clearly carefully carved out of what must have been an existing little underground structure, but carved out and expanded. In the center of the room, there is a lit brazier, very similar to the those of you who entered Waki's rooms saw in the middle of his room. It's like a small furnace that you can sit and eat around, but it also provides light. I am looking at my map of it now. Slightly off to the side, there are a couple of pillars in the space, and up against one pillar, there has been a round table that has been placed. On one side of the round table, there is a chair, and on the other side of the table, there are a set of piles of cushions, like sitting cushions. On the far end of the cavern, far away from you, is a very large statue of what looks like a paladin, made of gleaming metals, like a gleaming silver metal.
Oh, dang.
Oh, well,
On the opposite side, there is a large four-poster canopy bed that is draped in beautiful, light-colored chiffons and lace. The entire room has the same theming of the blue and the yellow, with just long pieces of fabric hanging down in places. In the colors of the furniture, what sparse furniture that there is. You actually have to walk down a set of stairs from where Naoki pulls back the curtain for you into the larger chamber. The chamber also does show its wear somewhat, in that it is a good portion of time old. A couple of the pillars are cracked and have fallen, but seemingly have been that way for a very long time. And there are bookcases lining the walls, full of cool rocks, full of books, one of them has a series of carefully placed and clearly well maintained blunt weaponry, a mace, a morning star, that sort of thing. There are in one corner there is what looks like a hay bale with a target in front of it, and an accompanying little crossbow and a set of bolts. And in the center of the room, seated on the cushions in front of the table, clearly having just finished a meal, is a small figure. Looks human, though is very pale skin. Long golden hair starting in a ponytail that begins at the very top of their head like this and trailing down onto the floor. And as you look at them and they look up at you, there is this rash of golden freckles across their face.
Aww, they're so cute.
Their eyes are a sort of amber color, amber gold. At first glance, it is hard to tell what gender or biology that they have. They are fairly androgynous looking. Their features are honestly very young, as if this kid is supposed to be about 17. It almost looks like they haven't been through puberty yet.
Aww.
Um, almost, you can tell that they have clearly grown up and are like almost adult, but they have
Just very
this
fine featured.
very fine featured, almost baby faced. They what features you like? There's a little bit of like femininity, but like not super hardcore.
Yeah. Um,
They look healthy. Um, they actually look like they might have a non-negative strength score.
Yay!
fantastic.
They're not built strong. They obviously are not like Alex or or even Aster strength. But like thinking about like that target set in the corner and a couple of the weapons and like the thought that like they might have to be going out to do this holy quest, maybe they've worked out a little.
That maybe Naoki has tried to give them what tools he can to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And at the moment, on their lap is Snowball, who is like being like very like cute kitty, nice kitty, like running her hand into their head into her head into their hands.
Very
Um,
unlike Snowball.
very unlike Snowball. Ophaniel is dressed in a very fine sort of hanbok, actually,
Ooh,
Okay.
pretty.
male hanbok.
Nice. Korean kimono, thank you.
I
Yeah.
like.
Um, in very soft blues and golds. Um,
Uh, yeah, when Nagi enters, well, after everyone else enters, Nagi will offer a friendly smile. Not her toothy, Terezi teeth smile,
yeah.
because that might be a little intimidating, but a soft little smile, and we'll say, hi, I'm Nagi. Um, you're Ophaniel, right? We've heard a lot about you.
Their eyes are wide as planets. And they just are like, their hands are stuck where they are like petting and holding Snowball. And hi. Yes, I'm Ophaniel. There are a lot of you. Sorry,
Fine.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to say that.
No,
No.
it's fine. It's good to speak your mind.
There are quite a lot of us. You
Yeah,
didn't
I,
mean to surprise.
I can imagine it's not quite jarring to have a bunch of strangers walk into your bedroom like this, and I apologize for that. Snowball's such a good cat, isn't she?
They kind of look down at the cat and they kind of like nod. And as they kind of go to like put Snowball on the ground as if they are going to stand, you can see as their hands move around their wrists, there is this fine sort of glittering silver. Uh, it would almost look like the chain to like a charm bracelet. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
those like kind of
Yeah.
thicker. Um, if it were not for the fact that sort of connecting, running off from both of them, uh, there are two very thin, almost seemingly gossamer like metallic chains that run from both uh, wrists to that center furnace and disappear underneath. Um, as they stand up and they start to kind of move a bit, the chains are moving very freely. It does not look like they are inhibited in any sort of way. Um, and they kind of like hurry, they kind of stand up, and Naoki kind of crosses the floor back over to them, and they kind of try to like shoulders back and like head up and try to school their expression a little bit. Um,
Parker, I have an important question.
Yeah,
Are they taller than Nagi?
they are.
Aw.
But not by much.
Oh, okay.
So are they about Asta's height then?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Oh.
Asta kind of very gently. Do you mind if we move close enough? No is okay.
Of course, I don't have many cushions. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Some of us can stand.
You couldn't have known we were coming. You couldn't have known to expect this many guests.
They nod kind of rapidly, and you see Naoki kind of like put one hand on them and just kind of like an up and down motion.
Yeah. Asta tries to sort of reassuring smile and
Nagi will approach at a very, very normal, non-threatening, not fast-paced. Essentially, she's trying to give off just an air of, "Hey, I'm here to be your friend. We're not here to hurt you."
They are watching your every. It does not take a high insight score to tell how like
On edge they are.
but trying to be sort of calm and composed on the outside. They kind of, they don't make a move to stop you. They don't step away.
I feel like introductions would probably be the best option, maybe to get you more comfortable talking with us.
I would like that, yes. And Naoki kind of is like, okay. You didn't give your names to Naoki, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't, did we?
Yeah.
Nagi will hold out a hand and say, "Hi, I'm Nagisa Yoshie, but my friends call me Nagi."
They kind of take your hand and then holding it out in front of them, they kind of give you like a little
Nagi will return it.
Asta. Although I guess Astorael, but it's a mouthful. He kind of does that face like.
They nod and they again give you a bow. And as you all introduce yourself, he will bow to each of you in turn, but still I'm what you will say.
Alex is here, right? Like, I'm not crazy.
Yes, Alex is there. The only one who's not here is Italia, yeah.
So when Alex introduces himself, he also goes like, how are you doing? And gives a nice smile. Not really expecting like an out loud response, but just to like be polite.
They just kind of, I'm doing quite well, thank you.
That's good. That's good. Good to be doing well.
Alex, you can tell they don't know what to fucking make of you.
Alex is just being polite.
Alex is just an artist.
They appreciate the politeness, but they're also like, I have never seen a person like that or so big.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
very tall.
Arson cow.
Alex is fine. Alex is smiling. He's giving off warm, friendly energy. Warm, friendly dad energy. To the best of his ability.
I love him so much.
Which is great. They still have never seen a cow person.
Yeah, that's fair.
I've never seen a firbolg.
He is a cowman. He does not mind. He doesn't mind being stared at all.
They like catch themselves staring and they like try to like not do it, but they're also like
cow.
He's cow.
Cow. I have many cows on this shirt.
How do Nin and Julius introduce themselves?
Irene will say, Irene, dear, you can call me Granny, and Ophaniel literally seriously does not know what to do with that.
Does Nimmer want to go
Yeah.
next?
I'm Nimmer. I don't actually know a lot of people my age, so I guess we're kind of in the same boat. So I hope we can be friends.
Hi. Oh.
She just waves, and then she very obviously, like, she's trying to mimic everyone else. She does the bow that everyone else has done, but like clumsily.
They seem to be getting like a little tired and awkward of the.
Now, how does Julius introduce
Yeah.
himself?
I want to know
Yeah.
that.
I'm trying to think of how he would do this because there's so many options. He'll step forward and give just like a very nice smile, pleasant one. No fang showing or anything like that. He's just hello.
You see, they hi, and you see them like scar back up. Like,
yeah.
nope, don't look at the scar. Don't look at it. Don't.
He, Julius will kind of like do, yeah. He'll just kind of smile slightly and just say, I'm Julius, but you can call me Jules. It's easier to remember. Not the name I originally came with, but it's alright.
And then they stop themselves.
I'm trying to think. He's gonna look at Naoki for a second, like, should I tell the kid or no?
Naoki kind of takes that hesitation, and Naoki kind of steps up and puts a hand on Ophaniel's back. Daniel, do you remember when Miss Rivetta and I told you that your mother had another kid? And Ophaniel like nods, and then their eyes go wide, and they look over at you, Julius.
Julius is gonna kind of just smile a little bit more and then bow a little bit.
They kind of like very hurriedly like. Hi.
Hello. No need for formalities, though. It's fine. Neither of us knew each other existed. At least not for a while.
Sorry.
There's nothing for you to be sorry for.
I just finished lunch. I think tea is in a little bit, but I don't, I'm sure Naoki could go get more tea if we wanted, and they seem to be trying to like recover a little bit.
Oh, I love them.
Nagi's eyes will go over to the bookshelf and say, I can see that you're a reader. What's your favorite subject to read about, or what's your favorite book?
Oh, they're school books. Naoki and Mr. Walsh and Miss Satoshi, they teach me things from them.
The formal voice.
Yeah, I know.
Other subject.
Sorry. Brain is soup right now.
Mine too.
Yeah. Nagi will... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Asta just asked if there were subjects they particularly enjoy.
Yeah, Nagi asked that too.
Oh, I like when we get to read like novels and things, but we don't get to do that often.
Oh yeah? Do you have a favorite so far? You don't have to make up a book name, Parker. It's okay.
They nod. Miss Satoshi has been teaching me about about Fae stories recently, and those are kind of cool. Those are really interesting. They correct themselves.
Yeah, they're pretty poggers, aren't they?
Sure. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Trying to kill Parker.
What?
God.
What did you say, Sarah?
I said, you're trying to kill Parker.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That look you gave, though, Parker.
Um, they don't. But Mr. Walsh talks a lot about Lede, and we do that the most. Um, that's I
Nin's kind of just making a face every time that they call him Mr. Walsh. But she's trying to hide it.
mm-hmm.
You know, I think I could probably go help Nelky with getting some tea if we want to settle down. And we can
Now
talk
he
some
kind of
more.
goes, that might take a little bit of time that we might not
Yeah, you know why we're here, right, Ophaniel?
have. They kind of look at you and they look at Naoki, and they're like, Naoki said you were going to take me on a trip.
Yeah, we are. And
Not
Granny,
forever.
Granny, Aster, and Alex here, they have magic that can help you communicate with Naoki if you need to. So you're never far.
Um, can I can I ask a question?
Of
Of
course.
course.
Where would we be going?
Well, that
I'm gonna.
depends. Where do you want to go? Is there a place that you'd want to see in Shalas? Or
Kind of look between. They kind of like look between you and Naoki, and they just like um they- um I I thought maybe Mr. Walsh had sent for me or something.
we are not associated with Walsh.
There's kind of an alarm in their expression when you say that.
Easy.
We are a friend of your mother's, though.
I don't understand. Um,
Would you like us to explain why we want to take you away from this place?
um,
Temporarily.
I, um, I think I would like that.
Okay.
Alright. So. I'm trying to think what would be the best way to put this.
Things aren't all that they seem with Mr. Walsh.
How much of the situation around the tapestry do you know?
Um, that I that Miss Satoshi says I'm supposed to go find something important, and Mr. Walsh thinks that it's the tapestry, and that he found it after a stranger came to the temple and helped him out, and that I'm supposed to go get it.
Oh,
Well, we would like to make it so that you don't have to do that. You
They
don't.
kind of like their expression kind of furrows a little bit.
okay. So,
I no, I'm supposed to. Lede said I am.
The prophecy.
I've been working really hard. I
you
can
have.
do it.
Maybe, but you don't have to do it alone.
One of the reasons, to explain this at least from my point of view, the one reason we don't necessarily want you getting the tapestry is it would make you play into plans Walsh will have. And Walsh.
But that's, good. He's my dad.
Mr. Walsh is trying to change Lede.
Julius.
He's trying to fix everyone's he says there's a lot of people who are wrong and he's trying to fix it.
Can we sit for a moment? Just for a second.
Naoki reaches over and grabs one of the seat cushions and hands it to you. Ophaniel kind of sits down.
Nagi will stomp the earth and make a stool appear and sit on that.
They are like, whoa.
So, High Priestess Satoshi is the only one that necessarily has prophecies or dream prophecies. I had 2 such visions of this. And he will begin explaining the darkness upon the statue and trying to find the light within and things like that. And he'll kind of pause for a moment and just say, he's gotten rid of a lot of the things that have made the day so prominent in this city.
No, he's fixing he's fixing the heretics problem. I'm sorry. He's doing really important work, and I'm sorry. Sorry.
It's alright.
You don't have to be sorry.
We won't fault you for speaking your mind, Ophaniel. It's alright.
We want to hear what you have to say. Okay?
They nod and they are like, if there's darkness, then and I'm the light, then Mr. Walsh is right, and I just have to go find this tapestry. I'm sorry. 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 They clamp down their jaw.
You don't have to apologize to us, okay? You're allowed to speak freely. We won't get mad. I promise.
If we do, it will not be at you, okay? I know that doesn't help much, but it's...
Now he kind of squats next to Ophaniel. He's like, I see. There's a lot of things going on. They're trying to keep you safe. And Ophaniel's just like, well, safe from what? And Naoki kind of listen, kid, I know you've been working really hard and you've gotten really, really good at your mace and that sort of thing. But kid, um, you're not ready. And if Mr. Walsh asks you to go now, it might be a bit too dangerous. And Ophaniel, like, kind of like, but if it's my duty and my destiny, then I'll be fine. I know I'll be fine. That's the way it, like, and you said I've been doing really good, and it's like, I know, and you have, like, Ophi.
Othaniel, sometimes doing things on your own when you're not quite equipped for what's going to happen later, it can spell disaster even when you're prophesized for something.
And if you are prophesized to complete this task, you'll be there with you, okay? You don't have to do this alone.
So you are taking me to go get it?
Well,
It would be after things have calmed down with Walsh. We have...
But he's...
It's...
Can I be a little bit blunt with you?
I just want to... sorry. I want to understand.
I know, and that's why I am asking so that you can prepare yourself. Okay?
They nod and they kind of put their chin up.
Take a breath. Take a breath. Okay?
They do not seem to relax at all.
Yep, I know. From what we have learned and been told, the fear that something could happen to you and this could go very wrong has been being used to keep Missing away. From standing with her faith and to keep her in line. And there was the threat that if you did not go to reclaim the tapestry, they would send Kay, who was even less prepared than you are.
From what they knew, I was still rotting away in a dungeon for years in the dark.
Naoki, you see Naoki to go, and Ophaniel's like, pardon? Sorry. Sorry. What? And Naoki's just like...
Too much honesty. I forget sometimes.
Naoki kind of, like, comes over and, like, sits in front of Ophaniel and, like, puts his hands on their shoulders, and it's just like... This is gonna be hard. Ophi, Mr. Walsh has done some very not nice things. Not great things. He has hurt some people, including your father. And right now, right now we're worried that he might, and Ophaniel's like, he wouldn't hurt me. And he's like, he not intentionally, but we're trying to make sure that everybody is safe, Ophi. And if you go with these people for just a little bit, oh shit, drop dice. You can make sure that's the case, and that he's not going to accidentally put you in harm's way. And Ophaniel just kind of like, you see them kind of pull back and like they're like drawing in themselves a little bit. And they go to like start fidgeting with the bracelet, and then their hands like snap down to the ground again. Sorry.
Julius is gonna take the one off of his wrist. And kind of... This one doesn't have any consequences.
They reach out and they take it, but they hold it very, very still. And
You're allowed to express whatever you need to, okay? None of it will leave this room, and we will not be angry at you. Okay? We can be angry at the circumstance without being angry at you.
Daniel looks at you, Julius. Are you really my brother?
Look at my eyes.
They seem to be having a hard time, like, keeping eye contact, but they meet your gaze.
And he'll kind of close his eyes at that for a minute. And just nod. I spent a lot of my life here. Well, 7 or 8 years.
Here?
Not in this room. In the upper parts. The temple. I used to attend to Inoue Satoshi. I was raised by Ravetta. She was who I believed at the time to be my full-blooded mother. It was before...
Miss Ravetta, yeah.
It was before Walsh was married to her.
Naoki told me.
Things didn't go well for me. I don't want something unfortunate to happen with you.
Make a persuasion check.
Okay.
At advantage because of Naoki.
Okay.
Fuck.
Oh god, okay, please, 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 please. Oh, that's a fucking horrible roll!
No.
Oh my god!
Wait, you're a divine soul sorcerer. You can bend the fate.
No, that's not for those. I have an 8 persuasion! What the fuck, Julius? Holy sh- I'm so
Wait,
mad.
do you have inspiration?
I don't know where it would be, fuck. I don't remember.
It would be clicked on your sheet. I mean, you've done these.
You've almost certainly done
Okay,
Yeah.
then I'm gonna use inspiration if that's okay.
Make another roll.
Oh my god, okay, I'll do a normal roll. Jesus Christ. Ah! The ones today!
Normally I wouldn't ask this, but can I give them my inspiration?
Why now? Fuck. Holy god.
Ophaniel, like, does not, like, seem to take this well and kind of seems to like draw back into themselves. I think I'd rather stay here, actually.
Inspiration is a complete reroll.
Yeah.
DM inspiration for recaps is.
Oh, I did not know that. I thought it was like regular. Okay.
No.
That's okay.
That is your choice. That's important. And Asta's kind of gonna look at Naoki because like he's thinking, and he kind of exhales and offers out his hands palm up to show that we spoke to Miss Inouye yesterday, I believe.
Yesterday.
Yeah. She seemed scared of losing both her children. And that is understandable. She also told us, in not so many words, that one of the things she did to try to ensure your safety was give the prophecy as a safety net for you, so that you couldn't be taken away from her the way that Kay or Julius told me. Since I'm talking about the past, I will use Kay. However, I will use Julius for the present, if that makes sense.
They nod, but they seem a little unconvinced, and they just kind of.
I know.
But the prophecy was from before I was born, like a couple of years.
Okay, I had not.
Wait.
Naoki kind of like, well, it was actually originally to protect Julius.
To try and keep him alive.
Naoki nods and then goes, but it is also to keep you safe, Ophi, as well. And they just kind of. No, I'm supposed to go do this.
Okay.
I'm staying here. And then
Will
they
you
kind of
accept our
wince.
help with this then?
They kind of wince a little bit at the volume of their voice.
All right.
Asta gives the soft little smile and, no, you're right to shout at us. We aren't listening. Okay? And I want to change that. I want to listen to you. Okay?
Naoki kind of, at this point, sort of glances off to the side, and you see where there's a set of stairs that start to lead upwards to the entrance that we did not all come down. And he's like, okay, yeah. Like, he kind of is like, just like, starting to get a little anxious.
Okay.
Well, we may need to leave.
So there are a couple of options, and I'm going to lay them out on the table. What was that?
Go ahead, Aster. You have options. I just have bad news.
God.
Is bad news too bad, kid? You're coming.
We have a couple of options. Okay. There is the option that we figure out how to walk you out here into the sunlight, which you have already said is a no. And I am listening to that, okay? There is the option that you stay, and when the time comes, we help you. We wouldn't be able to see you again until then. And even then, I don't know how much approval there would be of us going with you. But I know faith. And I won't ask you to put your faith in us with only having just met us. Alright?
They kind of seem like they're a little conflicted, like they're unsure. And Naoki gets a little. He's getting a little agitated.
Mm-hmm.
But I can also, if you want to come with us, there is somewhere beautiful and full of colors. And I think we might be able to get some strawberries. There's that bit of an awkward, deliberately sort of awkward.
And there's a big library we could take you to.
There's a moment where this 17-year-old is like, "Are you trying to bribe me with food?"
I also have
There's a whole. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Julius is gonna give like a slight smile as he's standing and just say, I also have a gallery and plenty of places to paint and draw.
And there's a whole world out there you haven't seen yet. And that we can help you see it. There's people in the city you haven't met. There's amazing things out there. And they're waiting for you.
There's stories to tell.
Your life isn't just predestined.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I didn't really want to leave home when I had to either. I had never really been anywhere else before I met all these people. But they've kept me safe and they've been good friends to me. And someday you'll get to come back here too, just like I'll get to go home too. And I think you'll be glad you left. I think you'll be surprised how much you can grow and how much you'll get to see.
Naoki will nod at that and say, I didn't want to leave home either, but circumstances caused me to, and I met these wonderful people, and I've seen more of the world than I ever thought I would. And I've gotten a lot stronger since I've met them too. We can help you become stronger.
Sometimes you just have to take a leap of faith, you know?
And they kind of seem to shrink a little bit if they're holding themselves. They just. But I'm not supposed to go outside.
People who follow the rules rarely make history, kid.
Plus, Lede isn't.
You're their age.
Julie's just
Naoki's
gonna.
just a year older and shorter.
Julie's just gonna snort and just say, Lede isn't a stickler for rules, kid. I promise. I'm the most rule breaker out of all of us, I think. Aside from the one that's not here.
And Naoki kind of like, okay. you gotta go. And can I get a group persuasion check?
Yeah.
Group persuasion, like all of us roll?
Every persuasion.
Oh,
Even
please.
Alex, even though Alex is just standing there, like I need like his
Please,
presence
for the
to be
love of
comforting.
God,
Well, his
Julius,
presence isn't
thank
very
fuck!
good.
What is happening?
Oh,
Can
thank God!
I'm gonna use the inspiration I've got too.
Fucking finally, Julius
go.
rolled well. Oh my God!
Anything Alex would have to say here is like counterintuitive to the point of kidnap the child.
Oh
So
my
he's
God.
being silent.
Oh my God.
That
We're
was
trying
really
to
high
have a
persuasion.
philosophical discussion with this kid, and Alex is like, any like encouragement I could give here is in the opposite direction of come with us, we're kidnapping you. So
Oh.
I'm gonna keep silent.
Yeah.
Granny roll, Parker.
Yes, Granny connection.
Oh, thank fuck we're all rolling okay at least.
Except for Alex.
No, Irene! But
Can
she
I-
has a
Can I
cat!
give her? Yeah, does the cat give her
Yeah, but
advantage?
can Snowball roll? Can Snowball roll persuasion, please? Please?
Snowball
Please?
can roll persuasion.
Yes! Please! Oh my God.
Snowball! Snowball!
Come on, Snowball, we
Snowball!
believe in
Snowball!
you! We believe in you, Snowball!
Also, cats have decent charisma in your game, right, Parker? Because
Yeah.
okay, good.
Because
Snowball.
the idea that cats have a -2 charisma is not.
That is not true at all.
Yeah,
You have every single cat you see, you look at and go, baby, 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 baby.
If anything, cats like sap your charisma.
No, I think
Oh
cats have
my
20 charisma.
God! No! I think that's wrong.
Snowball stacking up a bug in the corner.
Yeah.
Okay. God, and I can't give other people my inspiration, right?
You do have
We
more
have-
successes than failures,
Okay.
but just barely.
Thank. Fuck.
Oh, I was gonna literally cry if Julius rolled bad. I was close to it that one persuasion. I literally had, like, my eyes were watering. I'm like, no! Rolls.
Daniel kind of sits for a second in quiet and kind of holding himself. And just. Can I take a couple of things?
Yes.
But
You can take anything you want to.
But it
Can
doesn't
I-
need to be quickly.
Yeah. Can I have a look at those bracelets? And what they're connected to?
They hold out their wrists, and as you do, their hands are shaking.
Yeah. Ash is just gonna reach gently and very careful touch, looking to see the connection point, and is going to. They have he has detect magic, although he might ask Irene for like identify as well.
Irene will throw. It does take 10 minutes.
She can use a spell slot.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a.
Oh dang it.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
So she would have to ritual master.
Yeah.
Do any of us have dispel magic? No, right?
Asta has dispel magic. Asta has dispel magic. What he wants to make sure is that he's going to be targeting the right effect.
So you throw up detect magic. So the chains around Ophaniel's wrist light up. First off.
Yeah.
And the gossamer, it looks very thin and fine. This chain, although that trails to the furnace, but there is this undercurrent of magic woven through it, and you can tell like this thing is reinforced. It just has an aesthetic.
Yeah.
It runs all the way to like down the chain, and it sort of goes underneath the furnace, and it sort of digs into the ground a little bit, where you promptly lose it. Yep, it starts going too much through the stone. The
What
statue.
kind of schools?
What kind of schools?
Yeah.
Abjuration.
Yep.
No, it's just abjuration.
Okay.
Sorry, I was looking at my notes wrong. The statue on the other end of the hall also lights up in the same abjuration magic, the exact same abjuration magic. Naoki also lights up in a couple of places.
Yep.
Naoki lights up. Firstly, the cloak lights up. It's an illusion. It has illusion.
Yes.
To it. Additionally, there's a bit around sort of like this region, like sort of on the upper bit of his chest, that also lights up illusion.
Good for him.
And your various
Right.
party members light up their various.
They're very familiar at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay.
Let me check actually one thing. Hold on.
I need to run to the bathroom real quick, so I will be right back.
Or so one of the maces.
Hey, I have detect magic at will.
Ah, that would have been. In fact, if Asta remembers that, he might.
I'll let you switch it out this one time.
No, I was gonna say he will keep this one up, but he's gonna actually ask Nin, can you check further along the line for if there are any weak spots in the spell?
And she'll
You
do
should
that.
be able to see what they look like. If there's not, Ophaniel, is there something shorter you mind if I call you, or would you prefer your full name?
My name's Ophaniel.
Okay. I wanted to give you the option. Okay.
They nod. Nin, as you go along the line, it all seems to be very solidly one spell. And it does not seem to sort of break or weaken at any point.
Okay.
Naoki at this point has sort of like rubbed Ophaniel's back with it. He starts, he pulls the mace that is glowing off the wall, off the bookshelf. He grabs a couple of books as puts all that on the table. Heads over towards the bed where you see one of the things that kind of looks like a bookshelf is actually a set of drawers, and starts pulling clothing.
Now, and this is kind of turning to the rest of the party. Either this works or everything is about to go pear-shaped really quickly.
Naoki goes, wait.
Yeah.
Wait.
Whatever preparations you need. Ophaniel?
Ophaniel nods.
Once I get the go-ahead, I'm going to cast a spell on these. It is not magic to harm you, okay?
They nod.
Thank you.
You release their hands and they pull them back, and they walk over very quickly to where Naoki is, and the chains follow, sort of unspooling from the furnace as they walk. Again, moving very freely. They don't seem to be like physically restrained in any way. Like their range of movement is not like overly compromised. And they make it to the end of the with what looks like chain to spare.
Yeah.
And as Naoki kind of directs Ophaniel just like pick out a couple, like if there are any books, he kind of walks over to you. It's like, okay, that was simultaneously worse and better than expected.
Yeah,
Sorry about
normally Julius is more persuasive than that.
Kind of our style.
I'm a little panicked.
Yeah, maybe if you put on a shirt.
He's gonna flip him off. I don't criticize your style
Julius,
habits.
put a shirt on.
He doesn't flip you back because he has little paw hands.
Julius just looks at you, Alex, and is just like, all right.
Alex grins at him. Alex just grins at him.
Yeah, I can tell. I don't even need to insight you to know you're not serious.
Does he say insight for real?
No, it would probably just be like, I don't even need to, I don't know. Fine,
He does.
whatever. You know what? Fuck it, he says insight. Why the hell not? He says insight. You're welcome.
Hell yeah.
Break the fourth wall.
Hell yeah. Who needs it? Honestly.
Who needs that wall? Walls are for losers.
Oh no, it was load bearing. Oh no.
Yeah, that was a load bearing wall.
Oh no.
He does. You're going to have to deal with me before you activate that.
Yeah.
I would stick around, but one, I need plausible deniability that I was not conscious when that thing got set off, and two, I don't know if it has, like, an ability to record what goes on. It doesn't when it storm it, for sure. If it did, we'd be fucked a long time.
Yep. Should we have you outside of the door, then?
Yes. Absolutely.
You need to be bonked.
My idea is, and he points towards the stairs that head up into the temple, in the stairwell.
Okay.
I'll take care of that. You guys take care of, you know.
I'm gonna... Give me 1 second. And he walks back over to where
As to kind of... yeah, go ahead.
They start to talk lowly between each other.
Asta kind of turns to Nagi and just gentle shoulder squeeze and be quick, be careful. Please don't make me watch you die again. Okay?
Yeah, I'll be fine.
There's the very quick shoulder squeeze. Okay.
You look over and Naoki has kind of... So, Naoki and Ophaniel are about the same height.
Yeah.
And you watch as Naoki kind of puts his hands on Ophaniel's shoulders and physically turns them to look at him. And they say he says a couple of things to them, and they say something back. And then you just watch Naoki pull this kid into a hug.
Yeah.
I feel so fucking bad. God damn it.
And his tail kind of almost like wraps around one of the family's legs.
Oh.
This isn't goodbye, okay? We are not making him say goodbye. This is just say.
Yeah, Naoki's just like, yeah, it's not goodbye, kid. It's just goodbye for now. Okay? Now I'm gonna go upstairs. I'll see you soon. And Ophaniel's like, alright.
Nagi will follow Naoki upstairs.
And the rest of you are kind of left as, like, Ophaniel is just kind of standing by this bookshelf. What looks like an old book of fairy tales kind of clutched in their hands. And they kind of watch as Naoki leaves. And just at the threshold of where the stairs are, Naoki stops, and he sort of looks back over his shoulder at Ophaniel, and it's just a moment of each other. And he looks over at you, Julius, and there is something in his expression that is indescribable. And then he turns around and he walks upstairs.
As Nelky kind of like looks at Julius, Julius is going to step a little bit closer to Ophaniel, like just in that kind of passover of like, I get how important this is to you, sort of thing.
And he just kind of looks at the two of you. And Nagi, you can almost, like, right, with him right next to you, you can kind of see that there is something, like he is experiencing something. He's keeping it very quiet to himself.
And I insight check to see what?
You can try.
Okay. 28. Is that good enough for
Holy shit!
He is experiencing the vibe you get is kind of a bunch of conflicting emotions. There is at once awe and there is grief. There is this feeling almost like he can't believe that he's looking at the two of them together. And there is a deep sadness that he cannot go through.
Yeah, once they're out of once they go up the stairwell and they're out of line of sight of everyone, now will say, we'll take good care of them, yeah? We'll send you updates whenever we can. You've done such a good job protecting them up till now.
They nod.
Okay, this is gonna hurt, she says as she pulls out her staff.
He's like, I thought we were about to have a heart-to-heart moment, but apparently not. He leads you up. So he leads you up a flight of stairs. There is another flight of stairs that heads up, and you can see where it hits a trapdoor. And you think this is probably the staircase that you saw when you broke in to Inway's place.
Oh, okay. Is there a way that looks like she can mold Earth to, you know, if they try to get in quicker or get in sometime soon, they would to impede the opening of the door.
Not the opening of the door. It is a trapdoor up there. You could probably like push and collapse into the staircase, but it would make a lot of noise.
Yeah, she'll do that.
And he stops you on the flight, that middle flight, and he sort of turns around. And I'm not even gonna really make you roll. I'm just gonna say he's gonna pull his sword, but then he's gonna throw it across and like let it hit the floor.
Yeah.
And then he's going to sort of vaguely in your direction cast,
like he's play fighting, Nagi's real fighting.
Yeah. Like he's kind of like fake it, like but like it, as best as he can. Like he throws what is probably like a shatter at one point.
Shatter can be heard from a really far distance. Are you sure you want to do that for her?
Never mind. Nope, because he doesn't have a lot of good offensive spells, so he just kind of.
Yeah, bards don't get a lot of those.
You do get vicious mockery at one point.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. How many hit points do I take off?
Take a 1 because he doesn't actually insult you all that hard.
Okay. Yeah.
It takes you a couple of fucking hits.
Like he's higher level, right?
Like he's higher level than you.
Yeah, and then he also got a cloak of displacement.
Yeah, he kind of was like, if I take it off, it's gonna be suspicious. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I know. We gotta make this look as real as possible.
Fucking, it takes you more hits than you think it's gonna take, but eventually you kind of you go for like a solar plexus hit, and then you go for like the upper jaw, and in that moment he sort of like woozes over and hits the floor unconscious.
Yeah,
what's your passive perception?
Let's see. Passive perception is 17.
Okay. As you take that last swing, you're not actually aiming to like give him a concussion or like.
Yeah, just knock him out.
Yeah. So your blow is a little bit more glancing than it would be than if you're going for a normal like temple hit, right? And as you come up and you catch his cheek and your hand comes off, as your hand moves away from his head, for a split second, it feels like it brushes something in the air next to his head. and then he's down.
An air next to his head.
Mm-hmm.
What did it feel like? I can make some sort of check if you want me to, try and.
Make me an intelligence check at disadvantage.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, no.
No, it just felt kind of solid.
Okay, that's fine. Nagi will, turn it. Will give a look to say, like at his unconscious body, like I did not want to do this, but then she heads downstairs to her friends.
Yep. In the meantime, has very quietly and efficiently collected things. There's a small pack of a couple of clothing, a couple of handbooks, a more traditional kimono, and that's it. They also seem to pull what must be a set of fairly recently sourced armor that they collect, as well as their mace, crossbow, and a collection of books.
Yep. I think
and then they kind of stop, and then they realize they remember, and they dart back over to their bed, and quickly they sort of reach underneath and root around for a little bit and stop, and then pull out what looks like a very small, ornately carved box, and puts that with their stuff as well.
Yep.
Can Julius just do a scan of the room real quick, just to see if there's anything else that Ophaniel may have missed that might want to take with?
Like Lede Bible.
I mean, I'm just thinking as like, Ophaniel probably isn't like in a right state of, you said perception, right?
Perception.
Oh, Julius, you fuck! Okay, whatever, yeah, that's nothing.
You are also kind of shaken. They are very clearly shaken and nervous and kind of scared, and you're still kind of like, oh boy.
Yeah.
They seem to just have things.
Mm-hmm.
They also, yeah, that's
Yeah, that doesn't taste good anymore.
Okay, you guys ready?
Ophaniel?
Yeah?
We've been told by Naoki that this statue possibly can come to life if these your things are removed.
They nod. Yeah, Mr. Wolf has told me about that. He said it won't hurt me, though.
We are going to attempt to remove it, so things make it dicey for us.
Yeah.
Just when this starts, you should head for the door over there. Okay? Just so you're out of the way, we don't.
And you will be safe.
Exactly.
Julius and I will keep you safe if needed, okay?
Understood.
I'm sorry.
You're very brave.
No, I'm sorry, sir. I understand. Understood.
Not
sorry. Oh, 13-year-old sir.
I'm sorry you're in this position. Okay.
They just kind of offer you their wrists again.
Yeah. And Aster is going to attempt to dispel the magic on them.
Okay, what spell level?
At third, so I'm going to be rolling.
You are going to be rolling, yes.
Do you mind if I do physical dice because Roll20's been being...
Go for it.
Dunkerson. Now I need to actually check how this works. So I'll send it to chat just as... using your spellcasting ability. Okay. Does a 16 do it?
flickers. It wants to catch, and then just as you feel like it's not going to, like this thing is going to be more hardy than you think it is, it just manages to find sort of like a chink in the spell and reach under and pull. And you feel the spell put up a struggle and then crack and then break. And there's a moment of silence as you wait. And then as you all turn to look at the statue, waiting to see if it'll move, your hearts sort of caught in your throat. And then one large metal arm starts to move forward, and one metal foot up and off the plank, down with a crash, and the other one up and down with a crash, and it pulls up what looks like a very metallic looking like a halberd. It hits it against the ground, and it squares itself, and its stone, its metallic eyes look over at the group of you. And that is where I'm going to call session.
Yep.
Yay! Ending it on a fight! We can kick some ass!
We get to fight the Iron Giant next session.
Oh.
This is fine.
Why were the rolls so bad today?
I mean, speak for yourself. I roll fantastically.
I did well on the single roll that I made, so...
Julian, there were so many fucking ones today, that was a nightmare.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on with that, but...
The Julius luck, it infected everyone. God. Okay, I'm gonna stop recording now. Jesus Christ.